When their world isn't safe, they need someone to notice. If you suspect child abuse in any way, report it. Your call can change their world.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Welcome to the Black Box. Real men, real talk, real life. Grab the mic. Join the conversation.
Welcome back to the Black Box Podcast.
Real men,
Real talk, real life.
Welcome back, brother.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Listen, guys, today is not going to be a fun, punchy, exhilarating podcast. Today's going to be something a little bit more serious, something that's a little bit more close to home, more for you, Raul.
Yeah.
But definitely something that could have happened to me, and I have actually seen firsthand some of this stuff. So
Sure.
we are going to be on the topic of
We're going to be talking about when children and youth, specifically in Pennsylvania, fail the kids that they're supposed to protect, right? So this podcast is going to be very notes heavy because I want to respect the families and have as much accurate information as possible. And we're just going to be throwing some numbers out there, some statistics, and talk about some stories and, talk about some kids because a lot of these kids don't have a voice anymore, right?
Yeah. That's sad.
So one thing I want to start with is, and this is going to be like the big question in today's episode, right? It's like, what happens when the people meant to protect children miss the warning signs, right? So
because there's a decent amount.
yeah, so in 2024 alone, 41,000 children, 41,000 cases were reported to children and youth in Pennsylvania alone, right?
Wow.
In 2024. That's 41,000 kids that somebody saw something happening and reported it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Only 4,700 of those reported cases actually substantiated to anything, right?
Wait. Can you explain that real quick?
Sure.
So 40,000 or 41,000?
41,000 kids
41,000 kids were reported
to children and
to
youth.
children and youth.
Yeah.
And only 4,000 cases actually either does that mean it actually meant something, like something actually was wrong?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
4,000 was looked at?
4,000 were looked at.
What?
Only 4,000 were looked at. Yep.
Does that make any that I'm sorry. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yep.
So you're telling that's
Yep. In Pennsylvania, in the state
what is
of
that?
Pennsylvania.
10%?
Yeah, 10%.
That's 10% of all the cases that were brought in front of children and youth
Yep.
were actually looked at.
Yep. Yeah.
How?
It's insane. It's
How does that
insane.
even because you gotta understand, I'm a father, bro.
Yeah.
Like that is scary
It's
numbers.
scary. It's definitely scary to see the lack of resources that some of these agencies have. It's scary to see that, and I mean that's just one number, right? Out of those 4,700 cases that were reported,
Oh my
4,700 cases that actually substantiated to anything, that they actually found something, 60 kids died. 60 kids.
Wow.
Now, that may not seem like a huge number, but that's 60 children,
That's-
60 families. You know what I mean?
That's huge. What do you
Yeah. Yeah.
that shouldn't even happen. Especially
It should be zero.
so you're saying the 60 kids is part of that 4,000?
Yeah.
Or is that part of the 40,000?
The 60 kids is part of the 4,700 cases that actually substantiated to anything.
So that's not even counting
Everything
the 40.
else.
That's not even counting everything,
else. You
So-
know what I mean? And these are the cases that showed abuse, neglect, and in some extreme cases, as we see recently with this family, which we'll talk about a little later. But in those 60 children that died, 37 of those kids had already an ongoing case. So more than half were already in the system. There was already a
So
case
they were
on these.
already being looked at.
They were already being looked
So
at.
half of those kids were already blatantly on the radar
Yep.
to be protected.
And they missed the mark. They missed the mark. They fell through the cracks, and these kids died. right? These
That's what I'm
kids don't
saying.
have a future.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is that like one of those things where the kids are taken out for a minute and then they put back in, or is that one of those things where like they're investigating it and they're still looking into it and they're still looking into it and then the kid dies?
So yeah, so a little bit of both, right? So I feel like, so in my experience, right, I'm training to be a foster parent, a
Yeah.
resource parent, right?
Yeah.
And the main objective of being a resource parent is reunification, right? We
Yeah.
want to
Yep.
reunify these kids with their families, right? So they're with us in a safe home while their parents, their mother, their father, their grandparents do what they need to do to get these kids back, whether that's therapy, whether that's drug rehabilitation, whether that's, you know, whatever it is, getting being financially stable, you know what I mean? And a lot of these parents do it for a little while. They get their kids back and then they go back into that routine, right? And then in some cases, the kids were taken out of the home because of abuse, neglect, or whatever the case may be, and then brought back into a home that was still broken,
Yeah.
right? There was no, what's the word? Improvement, right? Nothing was done.
So how does that, in my opinion, like, I'm sorry, because I think very black and white sometimes,
Sure.
and some people don't like that about me,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
How, if you're taking the kid out of a situation that's bad
Mm-hmm.
for a period of time before they go back in, shouldn't there be a major drastic
Absolutely.
improvement?
Absolutely.
Like, that's
So-
just the way I think, and maybe I'm wrong. Hey, maybe I'm wrong.
No,
But for me
absolutely.
personally, because I come from a restaurant background,
Mhm.
if you fail your inspections of the restaurant,
Yeah.
the restaurant is shut down.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then everything needs to be fixed and brought back up to code.
Yeah.
So they come back in with an inspector to then go ahead and say, okay, this establishment is allowed to serve food again.
Yeah.
And this is talking about food.
Yeah.
We're talking about kids,
Children.
lives,
Yeah,
futures,
absolutely.
well-being.
Absolutely.
So how is that not a, like, how is there not an inspection before that kid comes back?
The lack of resources, the lack of staff. I feel like
I don't feel like that's an excuse.
it shouldn't be, right? You would think that it shouldn't be because we're dealing with the lives of children, right?
Yeah, I mean, it
Real
doesn't make
quick,
sense to me.
for you guys, I'm gonna put something up for you guys to see. In Lebanon County Sheriff's Department made a statement stating that it's the harsh reality of things, and honestly, I don't believe that. I don't think this should be the harsh reality that our children have to deal with, right? The harsh reality that families hurt kids. That shouldn't be a thing, right? There's a case that I saw just recently about a 1-year-old that was taken from his mother and his mother's cousin that were living in the house. There was abuse and neglect happening, right? And because they didn't have a placement for a 1-year-old, they brought that child back. Now, in the process of them taking the child and bringing the child back, the Lebanon County Sheriff's Department were creating a case for this mother based on child abuse and neglect,
Yeah,
right?
to bring
And-
to bring it against the mother.
To bring it against the mother.
Okay.
And children and youth were informed of this, and they still brought this child back to the mother's home. And not even 2 weeks later, the baby's father had the child over for a weekend and noticed that there was bruising and scars along his face. So he reported it again to the Lebanon County Sheriff's Department.
Wait. Why didn't they just leave him with the father then?
I have no idea. I don't know the circumstances of the case, and everybody's circumstances are different, right?
Yeah, that's the. Yeah.
You know, maybe the father worked a full-time job, lived by himself, couldn't really take care of this child on his own.
Yeah, you got
Right?
a point. you got a
Everybody's
point.
circumstances are different, right? But he noticed that there was abuse and neglect in his son, and he reported it again to the Lebanon County Sheriff's Department, and they said, "Wait, what? Why is this child with the mother when we were filing a case against her for abuse and neglect?" So that day they went over to the mother's house and they found the child underneath blankets. She was trying to hide the child. So now children and youth are under investigation, especially that caseworker. I'm not going to say any names because this is an ongoing case, but especially that caseworker is under investigation for neglect because of that.
As it should be. I mean, is there a contingency plan when there's no placement for a kid?
I guess not. I guess not. There's lots of stories of kids sleeping in, service buildings and stuff with caseworkers because they have no space for them anywhere else. You know what I mean? Sleeping in hallways of like sheriff's departments and stuff. You know what I mean?
That is
It's insane.
That's
It's insane.
super sad.
And real quick for you guys, anything that I talk about here will be sourced at the bottom of our video.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on our socials.
Comment for sure.
Yeah.
I would love to find out your guys' point of view.
Yeah.
And if you guys are someone that's fostering at this moment and you have a better insight than we do,
Yeah.
please,
Absolutely.
we would love to have a chat with you,
Yeah.
or even have you on the podcast,
Yeah,
and let's
absolutely.
talk about it. If you're a person that went through the foster care system, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not saying I want to put your dirty laundry out here, but if you're willing to talk with us and explain your struggles and what you went through, we would be more than grateful to have you on the podcast
Absolutely.
to make a part 2 to this, if anything. But Raul, those numbers
Are
and those examples, to me, I can't even
know.
fathom
I
it,
know,
really.
because we're fathers, right? We
Yeah.
have kids, right? So
And that's the other part for me, man. Like, how do you have a kid or make a kid? And I can understand the point of, like, maybe you don't have enough money, and I can understand these things. Listen, I know plenty of people that don't have enough money that have kids that their kids are actually taken care of.
absolutely.
Those parents
Absolutely.
do everything they possibly can
Yep.
to make sure their
Absolutely.
kid has what they need.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, I didn't have a lot of money growing up. You know what
Neither
I mean?
did I.
You know, and me and my mom were in the shelter system when I was super young. You know what I mean? Not because, we had no other choice, right? But she still took care of me
Yeah,
the
no
best
ch-
way
yeah,
that she
to do the
should.
best
You
you
know what I
can.
mean? Like, she fed me, she clothed me, and my mom went through it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, in all reality, there's no excuse. I understand substance abuse. I understand, abuse already occurring in a home and then just the cycle repeating itself. I get not having the resources to do what you need to do. I understand those things, but, there are people that can help, So, in the process of me training to be a foster parent, I had to become a mandated reporter.
Yeah.
Right, and a mandated reporter essentially is a person that, if they see something, they say something. Right,
Yeah.
if they notice abuse,
I mean, that should be
that should be
that should really be anybody
just anybody should
that,
be like that, right?
you should just automatically know that that's a thing, or you should that's a duty.
Yeah,
That should just be a
as
duty.
as a human,
As a
that
human,
should
yeah.
be your duty to
Yeah.
to look out for the children of this world, right? Hands down. But as a mandated reporter, my job is to see the signs of abuse and see the signs of neglect and see the signs of sexual abuse and things that shouldn't be happening to kids
Yeah.
and report it,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of people aren't doing that. A lot of people are afraid, or they're, oh, I'm not sure. I don't want to
You don't
start
wanna,
nothing.
like,
I don't want to be in their
false-
business.
yeah.
Da, 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 da. Sometimes it's the families that you wouldn't even expect to have the most darkest things happening behind the closed doors, right? And if somebody's willing to do those things in front of you, you can imagine what's happening
Oh
in their
my
home.
gosh, behind doors.
You know what I
behind
mean? You
closed
can
doors,
imagine
yeah.
what's happening.
For
So
sure.
the purpose of this episode, honestly, is to show awareness of a broken system, right? And we have to be the ones, us,
Yeah.
the parents have to be the ones to fix that system, right? Because this really hits home. Children should not be dying in the U.S. In a country, in what
Yeah.
we say is the
Yeah.
greatest country of the world, children should not be dying because of abuse. Children should not be dying because they're starving. Children should
Yeah.
not be dying because they're being locked in cages.
Yeah.
That should not be a thing that's happening, right? We have systems in place for people to report. We have workers in place to do their job. And I'm not just talking about the children and youth caseworkers. I'm talking about the teachers. I'm talking about the school bus drivers.
Yup.
I'm talking about the principals and the guidance counselors and the nurses and everybody whose job it is to take care of the kids. Oh,
Dude, it's intense. It's intense.
talking about the people whose job it is to take talking about the people whose job it is to take care of kids
Yeah.
who are not doing their job properly, right?
Well, I wanna ask you something. Why does this hit you so hard? Why is this topic so fragile for you? I know you're a father.
Yeah.
I know that. But why so fragile for you?
I feel like, as a father, right? Especially, being a father to a 4-year-old little boy and, being an extra dad to a 14-year-old little girl, right?
Yeah.
I could never even fathom some of the things that you hear and see happening to those kids, right? They're my babies. And even other people's kids, I could never even fathom the things that are being done to children, to kids that I know, right?
It's some sickos, man.
Yeah, it's insane. You know what I mean? The system is broken. The system is broken, and we need to fix it.
Well, the system's broken, and the people that are doing these horrific acts are definitely broken, and a lot of them actually come from abuse themselves.
Absolutely.
A lot of them.
It's a cycle.
Yeah, it's a cycle. And it just keeps on coming. And for me, man, like as a father, I mean, it's so funny because I'm so oblivious to those. Like, my wife had to, when we were early on together, she had to remind me, like, that doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Like, you can't play with her like that because someone could take it like this.
Yeah.
Or that.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just, we're just playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because I am a stepfather, and when you are engaging or playing with children, and for you it's just, we're just playing, and other people see something else. And I never looked at it like that. I never looked at it, and it was a bubble that had to be like, now I have to, okay, hey, don't do this way, because of the fact that I wouldn't even want a perception
of something
that could, like, not, hey,
absolutely.
listen, I lock the door.
Yeah.
I do everything I possibly can, so nothing can ever be pointed at me. And that's because of, like, and it sucks because for someone like me that, like, you'll never see me do anything like that.
Yeah.
That's just not who I am.
But there are people out there who are like that.
There are plenty of people out there
who you wouldn't
like
even
that.
expect. You know what I mean?
And it's true.
And so one of the biggest things of my training is, we look at some real sexual abuse cases.
Okay.
Right? With, names and dates and, kids. And we have to identify where the abuse happened, how it happened, and how we can avoid traumatizing the children further.
Yeah.
Right? There's a step-by-step rule book on, how to approach children that come from abused homes.
Yeah.
Right? And man, some of these cases, man, some of these things that you see, some of the things that they talk about,
Just break your heart.
it just destroys you as a human. You're like, oh my God, how could someone possibly do this, right? I mean, look at what's happening recently with this family. We have a case here out of York County that happened in 2019.
Yeah.
Right? It was a mother, a grandmother, and an uncle, right? And the investigation started in early 2024. Right. And Children and Youth removed the children from the home after seeing the condition of the home. There was medical neglect. There was dental neglect, nutritional neglect, physical abuse, emotional abuse. The kids were not allowed to leave the home for 2 years.
Well, Lori and Jerry, the DA held a press conference earlier today and shared just how bad those conditions were. He says that the children were malnourished, that they were restrained for more than 20 hours a day. They weren't even potty trained, and that's just the beginning.
Both children had reportedly not left the home in approximately 2 years.
It's a case that's being called child torture.
There were additional concerns about emotional abuse, specifically conducted through isolation and deprivation of normal developmental liberties.
After medical experts say 2 children were in an extensive state of neglect while in the care of their mother, grandmother, and uncle for several years, living in a home on the 700 block of Castle Road.
Both had significant dental issues, and when we say significant, this is an area where words do not fully describe what the reconstruction was.
Ashley and Lori Cardona are facing 17 felony charges and a host of aggravated assault and endangerment charges. Michael Cardona is facing 6 felony charges for his role in the alleged abuse.
There was improvement the moment that they got into the proper, non-neglectful, non-abusive environment.
The suspects were just arrested this morning, but it's a case that spans several years, with the children being taken into the custody of Youth and Family Services after seeing the conditions in the home. The DA explains why it was a lengthy process.
We would have potentially missed key charges, some of which may have included, did we fully establish and could we fully prove actual serious bodily injury inflicted? You need to have all that information.
Wait, so this was reported in 2019,
Yes, so the case was reported in 2019.
and then they finally got to it in 2024.
Then they finally got to it in 2024, and the family's finally being arrested. Now in 2019 the kids were removed from the home, but nothing was done afterwards, right?
Nothing to the people, like
Nothing to the mother, nothing to the uncle, nothing
where
to
is
the
the
grandmother.
line? Like for me, bro,
You know
like
what I mean? It's like I mean we're in 2026 and we're hearing about it now.
my problem. Okay, so like for me, like I said, I kind of think of things black and white
Yeah.
in a lot of cases, and for me, it's like I want to ask you. Maybe you know, maybe you don't. Do they still have custody of these kids?
No. So when the case was first brought to the children and youth, they did their due diligence, and they took the children from the mother, from the grandmother,
As soon as
from
possible.
The,
They
as
didn't
soon
wait.
As possible.
They
They
didn't,
didn't wait.
Okay.
Right.
All
In
right.
some cases they do. In some cases they wait, and then obviously you see what happens when you wait. But in this case, this is when the system actually did its job.
Okay.
Right. They took the kids from that home, and these kids were, I mean, the York County Sheriff's Department called it extreme neglect. Extreme neglect. These kids were kept in diapers. They didn't know how to talk. They didn't know how to walk properly. They were kept in poopy and pee diapers, all day long. Here, I have all the information here so that I'm saying the proper stuff. One child was restrained in a car seat for up to 20 hours a day.
Dude, I'm sorry. Like,
I mean, that's insane.
if I would just, as a
That's
father, like I would
insane.
just want to beat the hell out of you.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if I knew that, like if my
Yeah.
buddy or a friend of mine or my neighbor, and I
Were
would have
doing
figured that
that?
out. I'm sorry. There is no words.
Yeah. There's no words to the neglect that this family did, and it wasn't just the mother. It was the mother, the grandmother, and the uncle. They all lived in the house, and this house
These
was
are some of the 3
terrible.
top people that should be protecting these little kids, these babies.
Absolutely, man.
You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
Like my daughter, she's 17 years old, and she's still my baby.
Yeah. Can you imagine? And these kids were young, man. They were young. I think the one little girl was 5 and the other one was 8, in diapers still. I mean, the doctor said the abuse met the criteria for child torture.
My 2-year-old wants to get out of diapers.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't because like he still don't understand the concept too much.
Yeah.
But like my 2-year-old. So if you're telling me an 8-year-old,
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane, man. And listen, the numbers don't lie. You can look them up yourself, right? There is a crisis in the U.S., not just in Pennsylvania, but in the U.S. There is a shortage of caseworkers. There's a shortage of welfare workers, and the system is overclocked. The system is overbooked. Right? It's like a restaurant that got no tables for nobody, and people are standing outside waiting in line. You know what I mean? Like, and the system is broken. The system is broken 100%.
like we don't have like a facility for a transitional period or something like that.
Listen, man, and that's what foster care is for, right? That's why for me it was important to become a for me and my wife.
Yeah.
It was important to become foster parents.
And yo, kudos
Right?
to you guys. Seriously.
Because absolutely, and I feel like any family that has the means
Yeah.
to do it should do it.
Yeah.
They should start the process now because there's a shortage of families. There's a shortage, and these kids have nowhere to go. These kids have nowhere to
What
go.
age group are you guys?
So me and my wife have decided to stay with babies from the age of 3 to younger.
Okay.
Right. Just because of the space that we have in our house. right? So we can
Yeah, that
accommodate.
makes sense. That makes sense.
We can accommodate babies. We can't really accommodate a teenager. We don't have the space for a teenager,
Yeah.
and that's just what it is. Now, if we get more space, more kids,
Yeah.
absolutely more kids. All ages. Because like I said, if you have the means to do it, then do it.
Yeah.
I don't see why you wouldn't do it, right? There are kids in the system that need happy, healthy homes, right? And yeah, so that's what we're trying to do. And listen, when it comes to the children and youth program and the children and youth system that we have in Pennsylvania, in the US, right?
Yeah.
Not every report is substantiated, right? Not every case is clear-cut abuse. I understand that the system is
Case by case.
Yeah, like I understand that the system has a massive caseload, right? And agencies need to balance parental rights with child safety 100%. And the goal of these systems are reunification, right?
Yeah.
That's the goal, to get the family the help that they need and then bring the kids back into the fold.
Sometimes I hear like they say they get the help that they need, right? But is it really the help that they need? Like, what do they? You got to clean your house up.
Listen, man,
you got to go through some counseling
listen,
sessions.
I'm not gonna sit here, and I'm not going to. I understand everybody's got their own situation going on.
Yeah.
Whether it's, like I said, lack of money, poverty, whether it's homelessness, whether it's drug addiction, whether it's alcoholism, whether it's a cycle of abuse that they're just used to now because they were abused when they were younger, and their parents were abused when they were younger, and
Yeah, it just kind of keeps going.
A lot of families need help. A lot of families need the resources to be a whole family, right? And I'm all for it. If you want to better yourself as a mother, as a father, to get back your kids, if that's what it takes for you to do better for yourself, where your kids have to get taken away from you because you can't protect them the way that you're supposed to, and you do what you got to do, then you deserve your kids back 100%.
100%.
100%. If you're clean and you got a new job and you got a car and there's food in your fridge and your kids are coming home to a clean, safe house, then absolutely you deserve your kids back. But a lot of times that's not the case.
Yeah, my position on it, and I agree with what you just said, in the sense of like they should have a good balance with reuniting the families, but that checklist needs to be checked.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Like everything you just said.
Yeah.
Like the new job, the being clean for so long, and all these checklists, but it needs to be verified. It needs to be checked. It needs to be maintained and checked up afterwards.
Yeah.
Also,
because it's that cycle, right? Patterns repeat, right? Especially in high risk families that are already flagged.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like patterns repeat. They'll be good for a few months. They'll get their kids back. They did what they had to do, and then they go back into that cycle.
This is where I jump into the whole, because I don't know too much about this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I do have a decent understanding about probation and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So
and that's pretty much what it is. It's a probational period, right? It starts with
But I'm talking about like the way like they sentence convicts.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like you on probation for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
You need to check in. You need to do a P test. You need to do this.
Yeah.
And even if that means regular probation officers or in that realm, that there are people that have to go check in with these probation officers for a different subject matter.
So it's kind of similar, except with caseworkers, where let's say a mother loses her son, right? And her son is in the foster care system. He's with a resource parent, right? That mother has a checklist of things that she needs to do in order to get her kid back, right? Because the kid was taken out of that house for a reason, right? So whether that you need to get a job, you need to have, a steady income, you need to have a form of transportation, you need to be clean from whatever drug or alcohol you're on, and we're going to check you daily. We're going to check you weekly. And then they slowly start to give the parent privileges for reaching those goals, right? Whether that's visiting the child in public with the caseworker and the resource parent. You know, and then after a certain amount of time, now they can visit the child in their home, right? My kid can come with me for a couple hours with the caseworker there, just watching everything, making sure that everything's good, doing a home inspection, You know what I mean? And then after that, it's, hey, can I have my kid for the weekends?
Are they
And slowly.
are they also interviewing the neighbors?
I don't know. Maybe in their investigation phase, if they're trying to investigate what's going on, but also, like I said, there's a shortage of caseworkers. They can only do so much. Here's another statistic for you. In 2024, a caseworker had 25 families that they were dealing with at any given time.
25.
25 families that they were dealing with. One caseworker had to deal with 25 kids, 25 cases that they had on their table
And
that
they're
they
all
had
different.
and
They're
they're
all
all
different,
different.
yeah.
All different families, all different situations, you know what I mean? In 2026, that number skyrocketed to 75.
No way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Check the numbers.
There's no
A
way.
caseworker has to deal with 75 families. It's too much. It is way too much. 25 is too much. 75 is impossible.
That sounds like the public defender's
office.
office.
Don't even know your name.
No, yeah,
You know what
just
I
a
mean?
number on a docket
Yeah.
and your case load.
Yep.
That's insane. So
Yeah.
it went from 24, which is already that could be a healthy
Listen, man,
caseload,
it's insane.
but 75.
Yeah. It's insane.
Families, 75 little, like not even 75 kids. It could be more than 75
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
Like
It's just 75 cases. 75 cases that they have to keep track
Wow.
of, 75 cases that they have to follow up on, 75 cases that they have to investigate. You know what I mean? It's insane, man. The system is not working. Let's just be honest. The system that we have in place is not working.
So then we like as Americans, as people, as policymakers, we got to figure out a way of why is there so much neglect and abuse happening to our kids.
Yeah.
You know
And
what I mean?
why are
'Cause-
the people that are paid and the people that are there to protect them not doing the job that they're supposed to do?
So practical me, right, thinks of why is it happening in the first place?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The
And that
root
could be a
cause.
lot of things. That could be a lot
the
of
root
things.
cause,
That could
exactly.
be where you live. That can be, abuse in the past. That can be a number of things. That's a massive topic. Trauma. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's lots of reasons why abuse happens in a home. You know what I mean?
I'm talking about more of the sense of like the parents from the gate.
Yeah.
Like there got to be signs.
I'm sure there are.
There has to be signs
I'm
where
sure
it's
there
like
are, and I'm
where
sure
it's like
somebody.
these people are on like a
I'm-
watch list.
I'm sure there
and they
are.
have kids.
And I'm sure somebody went and said, "Ah, something's not right.
Yeah.
Something's not right."
Facts.
But they didn't say nothing, because they're like, no, I'm not gonna start that. I'm not gonna open that can of worms. I'm not gonna, or I don't have the time for that. I don't want to give my information out. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to this.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's the problem, man. The problem is people aren't talking about it. People aren't doing their due diligence when it comes to reporting when they see things, especially when, like I said, most of the times abuse happens and you don't even know it's happening.
Yeah.
The kids are happy outside. The family's happy outside.
They
go
don't
on
even
trips.
know they're being abused.
They go on trips, and then when they go home, it's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother story. You know what I mean? And it's sad. It's sad. I'm telling you, it's sad. But listen, the biggest problem that I see with the child protective system is that it's reactive. You know what I mean? They only do something.
That's where I was kind of going.
They only do
towards.
something when they have something, right? It's a reactive system. They respond.
I mean, with
to
the numbers
reports.
that you gave me, I'm surprised they can even be reactive.
I know, they respond to reports, right? And sometimes response comes late. You know what I mean? Like sometimes they're just so overloaded.
I just feel like they should be able to pull from different resources if it is that overwhelmed. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I agree.
There's only like I can understand like let's say 1 year there's 100 cases of child abuse.
Yeah.
And then next year there's 1,000. Right?
Listen.
There should be a way that they can go ahead and all right, listen, this year it's through the roof. We should be able to pull from here to be able to facilitate these kids and take care of it. Because you got to understand, these are our babies.
Yeah, these are our babies.
These
man.
are our babies. And,
these-
maybe it's not my baby,
Yeah.
but it's a baby.
Yeah.
Like we have one main natural job as parents and as just humans to protect little humans.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can't defend themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't have the voice and the action that we can do. And if you are someone that knows, or even if you suspect that someone is these kids are being abused, or somebody that you say something.
Say something. Absolutely.
And maybe it's saying something to somebody that knows a little bit more. Like for me personally, right? I would go to Raul.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, yo, bro, listen, hey, I saw that in the third. Is this something that like you would report? And if it is,
report it.
I'm gonna report it.
Absolutely. It's our job. It's our duty to report it.
Yeah.
Right? It's our duty to take care of our kids. Right. And listen, man, these aren't just like numbers, right? I know I threw a lot of numbers out there. I threw a lot of statistics and things like that. But these are kids with names. These are kids with birthdays. These are kids, these are kids with families that miss them, that love them. These are kids with futures that they're never gonna have now.
Yeah.
And the question that we have to ask isn't just who's to blame. It's how do we prevent the next one?
Yeah. And I think we're going to end it right there. Thank you for joining the Black Box Podcast. If you guys see something, say something.
Absolutely. I'm going to be putting something in the description section so that you guys can report if you see abuse or neglect, because a lot of these kids don't have a voice, so we got to be their voice for them.
I got you.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you for watching. You guys have a great night. And comment, like, subscribe, share this so people that you know can say something also. Have a good night, guys.
Have a good night.